This video is brought to you by Brilliant. On Wednesday, Milorad Dodik, the President of Republika Srpska, a Serb-dominated autonomous entity in Bosnia and Herzegovina, was given a 1-year prison sentence and a 6-year ban on holding public office for his separatist actions and defying the country's peace envoy. While the trial has been widely interpreted as a win for Bosnia's territorial integrity and its central institutions, there's nonetheless a risk that the conviction of Dodik, who's a close ally of the Kremlin, could trigger a fresh political crisis in the country. So in this video, we're going to take a look at what's happened in Bosnia and what might happen next. Explore which world leaders are winning and which are losing every week with our new podcast, The World Leader Leaderboard. Find it over on the TLDR Podcast YouTube channel or in your favourite podcast app. So to understand the current crisis, you need to understand a bit about Bosnia's governance structure, as established by the 1995 Dayton Peace Accords. The Dayton Accords split Bosnia into two so-called entities, Republika Srpska, that curls around Bosnia and Herzegovina's north and east borders, and the Federation, made up of 10 so-called cantons, which are basically devolved mini-governments. The Federation is mostly made up of Bosniaks, who, according to the latest census, account for 70% of the population, with Croats accounting for 22% and Serbs just 2%. There's multiple levels of governance in the country, and it's all pretty complicated. But essentially, while the Federation has its own cantons and Federation of cantons, both the Federation, Republika Srpska, and the Brčko district condominium are bound together by joint central institutions which exist at the state level. These include the Constitutional Court, the tripartite rotating presidency, and the House of Representatives and the House of Peoples. All important decisions must be backed by both houses. But there's another level at the very top of these central institutions, the so-called High Representative, who's essentially a foreign politician appointed by the UN and has near infinite political powers, dubbed the Bonn powers. The incumbent High Representative is Christian Schmidt, a German politician from the Christian Democratic Union, who basically oversees and is responsible for the implementation of the Dayton Agreement. Now, the High Representative is a particularly controversial figure for most citizens, because, well, not everyone agrees that an omnipotent foreign power broker should have the final say in Bosnia's affairs. But Schmidt specifically is quite controversial for at least two reasons. Firstly, because members of the UN Security Council, China and Russia, did not endorse his appointment. And second, because he caused widespread outrage back in October 2022, when he changed Bosnia's electoral laws mid-election. Dodik, who served as the President of Republika Srpska from 2010 to 2018 and was re-elected in 2022, has frequently clashed with Schmidt. Dodik has long accused Schmidt and the country's state-level institutions of unfairly targeting ethnic Serbs and undermining the autonomy of Republika Srpska, repeatedly describing Bosnia and Herzegovina as a failed state and threatening Republika Srpska's secession on multiple occasions, which has led to sanctions against him by the US and the UK. While Dodik's threats have often been dismissed as political bluffs aimed at sowing instability, a tactic he likely employs to divert attention from allegations of clientelism and his patronage network, Dodik has made concrete efforts to undermine the influence of Schmidt and state-level institutions in Republika Srpska. The most glaring instance of this came in 2023, when the Republika Srpska National Assembly adopted a law according to which the decisions of the High Representative in Bosnia and Herzegovina would neither be published in the official gazette of the Republika Srpska, the entity's constitution, nor actually implemented. Shortly after, the High Representative annulled that law, but Dodik ignored it and signed a decree putting it into effect. In the meantime, the High Representative also amended the country's criminal code, so that failing to implement the decisions of the High Representative became a criminal offence. And after Dodik ignored this too, the prosecutor's office filed an indictment against Dodik and the director of the official gazette, Miloš Lukic. Dodik dismissed his indictment, claiming it was politically motivated, an attempt to remove him from power, and alleged that the indictment against him was filed by the prosecutor's office under pressure from the US ambassador. The day before his sentencing, Dodik upped his threats and warned that if Schmidt entered Republika Srpska, he would be arrested. Meanwhile, gas supplies to Sarajevo were suspended, and Dodik called for a 2-day protest in Republika Srpska's de facto capital, Banja Luka, saying that if he is found guilty, he will hold a referendum on Republika Srpska's separation from Bosnia and Herzegovina, remove Bosnia's court and prosecutor authority from Republika Srpska territory, and finally withdraw all Republika Srpska representatives from Bosnia's state institutions, including the State Investigation and Protection Agency and the armed forces. Then on Wednesday, the first instance verdict acquitted Lukic, but sentenced Dodik to 1 year in prison and a 6-year ban on being president of Republika Srpska. While this is slightly less than what the chief prosecutor requested, which was 5 years imprisonment and a 10-year ban on political activity, it's still a big win for Bosnia and Herzegovina's judicial independence, which reportedly faced significant external political pressure from Dodik and his party. It also marks the first time since the war that local courts, rather than the High Representative, have moved to rein in Dodik. What's more, Dodik's secessionist threats now feel, well, a bit empty. For one, any actions he takes which go against the country's constitution can be reversed by Schmidt, and Dodik doesn't have the political or military capacity to secede the territory by force, especially while NATO security guarantees are still in place. What's more, the opposition in the Republika Srpska Assembly said that they rejected Dodik's threats, arguing it will only threaten the autonomy and stability of Republika Srpska, and refused to participate in an emergency session called by Dodik. Republika Srpska army veterans also refused to support Dodik or take part in his rally, which they claim was organised to defend Dodik, not Republika Srpska. But this doesn't mean it's necessarily smooth sailing for Bosnia and Herzegovina from here on. The Republika Srpska National Assembly rejected the verdict, claiming that the court had staged a coup d'etat, while the Russian Foreign Ministry said that the charges on Dodik will have harmful consequences for the situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina and the entire region. Meanwhile, the President of Serbia, Aleksandar Vučić, a close ally of Dodik, described the verdict as the biggest crisis in Bosnia and Herzegovina since the end of the war, and quickly travelled to Banja Luka in support of Dodik. Whilst in the past, Vučić has played the role of the regional stabiliser, which has earned him points in the EU, some analysts argue it may work to his advantage to add fuel to the fire in Bosnia and Herzegovina, which would divert attention away from the protests in Serbia that are escalating into a popular uprising. Dodik still has 2 weeks to appeal the verdict, so we'll have to wait and see whether he will and what political drama may follow. Now, the thing is, often in politics, we need to understand a wide variety of topics to truly understand what's going on. Unfortunately, our sponsor this week, Brilliant, helps us do just that, with thousands of lessons in maths, science, programming, and AI. And not only that, but their interactive lessons teach you by doing, instead of just asking you to mindlessly memorize stuff. This helps you build your critical thinking skills and to become a better thinker. For instance, Brilliant's newly updated maths courses help you establish a strong foundation in algebra. It then helps you build on this, teaching you how to conquer calculus, all while maintaining an emphasis on problem solving and reasoning. The thing I like best about this, though, is that their mathematical courses help you develop your mathematical intuition and fluency, skills that you can use in the real world. As we've told you before, data skills are absolutely necessary for navigating the modern world, and Brilliant is the best way to get them. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/TLDR or click on the link in the description. And by doing so, you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription.